The question of time travel, without a doubt, leads in the list of the most interesting topics. For many centuries, mankind is not only interested in this question, but also dreams about such journeys. No matter how fabulous it looks, some physicists still believe that it's really possible. Let's analyze how it is possible to create such a device, what problems will be encountered, and of course, how much time it will all take. By the way, there are many more interesting videos on our channel. Do subscribe to our channel and be among the first to learn about exciting news. And don't forget to give us your likes. Back in the 20th century, famous science fiction writers such as Herbert Wells, Henri Gasper, and Rimbaud created prototypes of a time machine in their works. The scientific rationale for the idea was given by Einstein in the early 20th century. In his theory, he argued that time is relative. For each person, it flows differently. This is how mankind discovered the main ingredient, speed. That is, if you want to get to the future right now, you just need to figure out how to move at a speed close to the speed of light. In 2015, the famous cosmonaut Gennady Paldaka returned to Earth after his 6th space flight. On that day, he managed to break the world record for time a man spent outside the Earth. Gennady had been in space for 879 days, and that's about 2.5 years. Traveling at great speed, the astronaut was able to become a true time traveler and put Einstein's theory of relativity to the test. When he returned to our planet, he actually found himself in the future. True, only for 1/44th of a second. That's how fast time went for him, compared to the way it went for the people left on Earth. Thus, while traveling through space, Paldaka simultaneously traveled in time and in the future. The secret to this was the tremendous speed in the Earth's orbit. If the cosmonaut had the ability to move at a similar speed for all 879 days, he would literally be in the future. After all, then many years would have flown by during his time in space on Earth. In other words, the theory of relativity can be described as follows. The faster you move, the slower time flows for you. This means that if you move at the speed of light, not only does time slow down for you, but also all the physical processes going on in your body. That is, when you return to Earth, you'll see that during your absence, time has noticeably gone forward and all your peers have become much older. Another example, at the top of Mount Everest, the burden runs faster than at the foot of the mountain. If you take an atomic clock, place one of them at the top of the mountain and put the other at its foot, then in a day, the clock that is on the top will go forward by nanoseconds. In fact, this clock also travels into the future, but for a very short time. This is explained by the fact that gravity at the top of the mountain is weaker than at its foot. Einstein's last idea was that gravity can also slow down time. The great scientist found that in places where gravity acts weaker, time moves faster. For example, in outer space, time runs slower than on Earth, Jupiter, and the Sun. After all, the gravitational force of the latter is quite large, so it affects the passage of time. In other words, the course of time is affected not only by how fast an object moves, but also by how much gravity. Einstein argued that the 3 dimensions of space are also connected to something we call the 4th dimension. He described it as a kind of a space-time system. This is the model of the universe we still use today. According to the scientist, it is possible to fold space-time, creating a kind of transition between 2 distant points. Such a phenomenon is called a wormhole. It can be imagined as a tunnel with 2 openings where each opening exists at a different point in space-time. It is possible that such wormholes exist naturally in outer space. Scientists have been trying to detect them for many years with the help of the most modern radioscopes. However, if they exist, they are somewhere very far away, many light years away. Even if we assume, theoretically, the possibility to get to them after experiencing the road through them, it is still not known where, as a result, a man will find himself. Some scientists allow the possibility of creating such a wormhole in the future, only at this point we do not yet know how this can be done. Also, physicists take into account that this phenomenon can destroy everything inside of it. If a future time machine will use them, it is necessary to think of a way to bypass this feature. Usually, such manipulations lead to various paradoxical situations. For example, a time traveler may encounter a young version of himself or a villain that plans to kill his parents even before he is born. Therefore, the person's life in the present is under threat. According to the laws of physics, it is forbidden to travel into the past. After all, if the course of events changes it, the future and the present will also change. An example often cited in this field is the grandfather paradox. When you find yourself in the past and there kill your own grandfather at an early age, he will never meet your grandmother. Thus, your dad will never be born, and consequently, neither will you. Therefore, you cannot go into the past and change it. Thanks to modern science, it is possible to expand the possibilities of perceiving reality. With the help of quantum physics, many physicists are reconsidering their views on the relationship between the future and the past. Scientists have found at the level of quantum particles a confirmation of Wheeler's delayed choice experiment. This proves that at a level of elementary particles, those actions that take place in the present can influence the past. Maybe there are people who are already using it, but not consciously, still waiting for some kind of device. What if the time machine is some kind of quantum effect that each of us is capable of? Alas, in order to create this incredible, fantastic tool, people will need a lot more time and resources, and of course, a lot of financial investment. But the situation was the same with other large-scale projects that sounded impossible a few decades ago. For example, the Hadera Collider or the project to detect gravitational waves. Today, these projects have become a reality and do not particularly surprise anyone. So, who knows what will happen in the next few decades? What if the next scientific project is to create a model of a time machine? Let's say in the form of a spaceship that can rush at the speed of light or something similar. Today, if you want to admire the effects of the time machine, you can only watch famous movies on the subject or read something from science fiction. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. A lot of interesting things are waiting for you. We'll see you there.